Ever dreamed of strolling through attractive streets, sipping coffee by a canal, or posing in front of a luxury hotel with the perfect sunset in the background? These cities look like paradise, the kind of place you would save on Instagram forever. But behind all the charm and glitter, life for the people who actually live there is anything but perfect. Beautiful on Instagram, frustrating to live in. Here are some of the cities built for tourists, and what is actually going wrong with them. Venice, Italy. Venice has long been considered one of the most romantic cities in the world, and it's easy to see why. The moment you step off the train at Santa Lucia station, you're greeted not by cars, but by winding canals filled with glistening gondolas. Bridges arch gracefully over the water, and the pastel-colored buildings lean slightly over the narrow alleys as if bending toward the passing visitors. Every street seems curated, like a living postcard. Tourists flock to Venice, and they line up at St. Mark's Square, where pigeons swarm around tourists trying to snap the perfect selfie in front of the Basilica di San Marco. They float along the Grand Canal, paying hundreds of euros for a gondola ride that lasts just a few minutes, but looks flawless in photos. Venice is a city where every turn offers a frame-worthy moment, and the entire urban landscape feels like it was designed to enchant. But the reality for locals is starkly different. Venice is home to about 50,000 residents today, a number that has been shrinking for decades. The city has seen an exodus of locals, who cite overcrowding, soaring living costs, and a lack of community as reasons for leaving. During the height of tourist season, the narrow streets become so packed that it can take hours to cross St. Mark's Square. Locals often joke that navigating the city during peak tourist periods is like playing a real-life game of Tetris, dodging selfie flicks, tour groups, and luggage-laden visitors. The economics of Venice is another challenge. Property values and rents have skyrocketed, driven largely by the demand for short-term tourist accommodations. A local who has lived in Venice for generations might find the apartment they grew up in is now financially out of reach. Groceries, utilities, and everyday services are also inflated because most businesses know they can charge premium prices to visitors who are only in town for a few days. Most Venetians have relocated to the mainland, enduring a daily commute across bridges and vaporettos just to get to their jobs or schools. Cultural erosion is another invisible cost. Once, Venice was renowned for its artisan shops, for gloss makers in Murano, mask makers in the alleys near St. Mark's, and lace producers in Burano. Today, many of these traditional crafts have been pushed out in favor of mass-produced souvenirs. Locals lament that their culture has been turned into a show for outsiders. In fact, in 2019, Venetians held protests against mass tourism, waving signs that signify the growing frustration with a city that feels more like a theme park. Even basic infrastructure prioritizes tourists over locals. Public transport is designed to ferry visitors to the most famous sites, and local residents often struggle with the expense and inconvenience of navigating the city. Water taxis, for example, are priced for tourists and are rarely practical for everyday commuting. Locals have to plan their lives around tourist schedules, avoiding crowded spots during peak hours just to get groceries, pick up kids from school, or attend appointments. Venice may be stunning on Instagram, but behind the scenic canals lies a city where ordinary life has been reshaped to accommodate millions of outsiders. Dubai, UAE. While Venice represents old-world charm and romance, Dubai is a place where ambition and tourism collide to create a reality that feels almost futuristic. Imagine a city where the tallest building in the world pierces the sky, indoor ski slopes exist in the middle of the desert, and artificial islands shaped like palm trees stretch into the sea. Dubai is designed to impress just anyone. Tourists arrive in droves, drawn by its luxury shopping malls, world-class hotels, and extravagant attractions. The Burj Khalifa, towering over 828 meters above the ground, is the centerpiece of a city that thrives on awe. Visitors flock to its observation decks, marveling at panoramic views that seem to stretch forever. Dubai Mall, more than just a shopping center, houses aquariums, indoor waterfalls, and even ice rinks, creating an entertainment ecosystem that can easily keep a family busy for an entire day. The city is also a hub for unique experiences. Desert safaris offer the thrill of dune bashing and camel rides, while indoor ski resorts allow tourists to escape the scorching desert heat in style. Beaches, marinas, and luxury resorts cater to every imaginable desire, creating a city that feels like a playground for visitors. Every corner is designed for maximum visual impact, but life for locals is not as glamorous. Even for Emirati citizens, living in Dubai can be expensive. Prime residential areas near the city center are dominated by hotels, luxury apartments, and high-end developments catering to expatriates and wealthy visitors. Many locals have been pushed to neighborhoods on the outskirts, far from the glitz that tourists see. Even public spaces like parks or beaches often prioritize aesthetics over usability, meaning locals sometimes struggle to find affordable, accessible spots for daily recreation. Dubai is also heavily reliant on expatriate workforce, which has shaped services and infrastructure in ways that don't always align with local needs. Schools, hospitals, and businesses frequently cater to international residents or visitors, leaving Emirati communities feeling somewhat sidelined. A telling example is the Burj Khalifa observation deck. While tourists line up for hours to capture the perfect panoramic shot, locals often find the price and timing prohibitive. leaving them feeling excluded from the very icons that define their city. Even simple errands or commuting can feel like navigating a staged environment. Roads are designed for efficiency and spectacle, not for the quiet flow of daily life. Locals often recount stories of being stuck in traffic near tourist hotspots or being unable to access certain areas without paying premium fees. Dubai dazzles, but living there as a local can feel like residing in a luxury exhibition that is beautiful to look at, but challenging to experience authentically. In Orlando, now let's head to the other side of the globe in Orlando, a city that might feel like it never sleeps, because in a way, it never does. Known as the theme park capital of the world, Orlando is home to Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and countless other attractions. The city is essentially a massive entertainment machine, designed to thrill visitors from morning until night. Tourists descend on Orlando in staggering numbers. Disney World alone attracts over 20 million visitors annually. Families navigate winding paths, schedule their days around parades, rides, and shows, and spend thousands of dollars on tickets, food, and merchandise. Hotels and restaurants surrounding the parks cater almost entirely to short-term visitors, creating neighborhoods that feel more like temporary playgrounds than permanent communities. But for locals, life in Orlando comes with significant challenges. Tourist traffic dominates the city's roads, and even running errands during peak season can feel like navigating a maze. Grocery stores near major attractions are often crowded or priced with tourists in mind. Locals joke that a quick trip to Target near Disney World can turn into an hour-long ordeal. Surrounded by families with strollers, luggage, and the constant buzz of vacation energy, housing is another issue. Many residential areas have been converted into short-term rentals, pushing property prices up and making it difficult for families to find affordable homes. Teachers, nurses, and service workers often find themselves priced out of neighborhoods near their jobs. One Orlando resident shared how her apartment complex converted units into Airbnb rentals, forcing her rent to increase by 20% overnight. Work-life balance is a further struggle. A large portion of the city's economy revolves around serving tourists. Restaurants, hotels, and attractions operate on extended schedules, often requiring locals to work nights, weekends, and holidays. Families find it challenging to enjoy their city when so much of it operates on tourist time, and public spaces can feel overrun or artificial, designed more for entertainment than authentic community life. Even the cultural identity of the city is shaped by tourism. Local events, parks, and public spaces are often programmed to align with tourist interests. Locals sometimes feel like outsiders in their own city, navigating a landscape that exists primarily for the enjoyment of visitors. While Orlando might look like a dream destination on a brochure or in a travel vlog, living there as a resident can feel like inhabiting a giant theme park that never turns off. Cannes, France. Cannes is synonymous with glitz, glamour, and the red carpet world of cinema. Every year, the Cannes Film Festival transforms this small French Riviera city into the epicenter of global luxury, attracting A-list celebrities, photographers, and film lovers from across the world. It's a city that knows how to put on a show, and on the surface it looks perfect. Walking along the Promenade de la Croisette, the streets shine with designer boutiques, luxury hotels, and pristine beaches. Every hotel lobby is a stage for luxury, every cafe terrace is a carefully curated photo op, and the yachts bobbing in the harbor make even casual strollers feel like they've stepped into a dream. For tourists, Cannes is the absolute paradise where the sea sparkles, the weather is perfect, and indulgence feels effortless. But for locals, life in Cannes is another story. Outside of festival season, the city can feel strangely empty. During the Cannes Film Festival, locals are forced to navigate streets jammed with cameras, limousines, and high-profile guests, while everyday necessities like grocery shopping or commuting become exercises in patience and planning. Restaurants and shops cater to tourists, often with inflated prices that make daily life expensive for residents. A local bakery owner once told reporters that during festival week, he could barely serve locals because the staff was overwhelmed by hotel bookings and catering to visiting celebrities. Housing in Cannes is particularly challenging. Many apartments are purchased as second homes or investment properties for short-term rental during tourist season. This has driven rents sky high, pricing out local families who have lived there for generations. Some residents have been forced to move to nearby towns just to find affordable housing, enduring long commutes and losing a sense of community. Locals often share stories of entire neighborhoods turning into ghost towns after the festival season ends, with storefronts boarded up and public spaces empty. Cultural identity in Cannes is also shaped by tourism in ways that don't always favor residents. Local traditions and festivals that once defined the city are often overshadowed by events designed to impress outsiders. The city's economy revolves almost entirely around the tourist calendar, leaving residents with little say in how public spaces and services are developed. Locals sometimes joke that they recognize their city more from photos and festival coverage than from the streets they actually walk every day. One striking example comes from the Cannes Film Festival itself. During festival week, the city effectively becomes closed off to residents in certain areas. Roads are blocked, hotels are booked months in advance, and access to public amenities is limited. A local artist shared that he could not even reach his studio one year because the streets were closed off for festival activities, illustrating the disconnect between the city as a home and the city as a showpiece. Cannes may sparkle on the French Riviera, but for the people who live there, the glitter comes with a price. Overcrowding, rising costs, and a city that feels increasingly designed for outsiders outsiders. Macau, China. Across the globe in East Asia, Macau offers a completely different kind of tourism, one built around wealth, entertainment, and gambling. Often called the Las Vegas of Asia, Macau is home to massive casinos, luxury resorts, and attractions that are designed almost entirely for tourists and high-rolling visitors from around the world. It's a city that thrives on extravagance, and everything about it is geared toward drawing in money and attention. For visitors, Macau is dazzling. The Cotai Strip, often compared to the Las Vegas Strip, is lined with hotels and casinos boasting spectacular architecture, fountains, and light shows. Entertainment, shopping, and fine dining are all concentrated in ways that make it nearly impossible for tourists to experience boredom. Every casino and hotel creates a cityscape that feels larger than life, but for locals, Macau can feel like a city built for other people. Public spaces, transport, and even the urban infrastructure are focused on facilitating tourism and gambling rather than creating livable neighborhoods. Locals often recount long commutes or crowded streets as visitors flood the city during peak tourist seasons. Residential areas near the Strip have skyrocketed rents because property owners prefer to sell or rent to investors and short-term visitors who can pay far more than locals. The social impact of this tourism-focused development is profound. Many jobs cater directly to tourists, leaving limited opportunities for creative industries, small businesses, or services aimed at the local population. Families have reported difficulties finding affordable schools or community services because resources are allocated to accommodate the influx of visitors. One Macau resident shared that even grocery stores near tourist areas inflate prices, knowing that casino visitors will pay without hesitation, leaving locals to travel further for basic necessities. Macau also has a unique cultural disconnection. The city has a rich history, blending Portuguese colonial architecture with Chinese traditions. However, the rapid development of casinos and tourist resorts has overshadowed this heritage in many areas. Streets that once hosted vibrant local markets are now lined with luxury stores and casinos, turning daily life into a constant reminder of a city catering to tourists. Incidents highlighting these issues are not uncommon. In 2014, local protests emerged over proposed casino expansions that threatened historical neighborhoods, sparking debates about whether the city was prioritizing economic gain over preserving the home and community of its residents. For many locals, the city has become a place where economic interests, largely driven by tourists, outweigh personal quality of life. Even the leisure experience is skewed toward visitors. Parks, entertainment complexes, and even public events are often designed to attract tourists, leaving few spaces for locals to enjoy. Residents describe feeling like spectators in their own city, constantly negotiating between their desire for normalcy and the spectacle that surrounds them. Macau is a city that dazzles and entertains, but for the people who live there, it can feel alienating, exhausting, and dominated by an economy that puts outsiders first. What unites all these countries, despite their differences, is the way tourism shapes every aspect of life. All of them are iconic, globally recognized, and seemingly glamorous. But for the residents, the reality often involves compromises, crowded streets, inflated prices, limited access to public spaces, and a sense that the city itself has been repurposed for visitors rather than its own people. Residents often describe feeling like strangers in their own homes. The everyday joys of walking through your neighborhood, shopping, or relaxing in public spaces can be overshadowed by crowds, spectacle, and commercialization. Even when cities are beautiful, convenient, or iconic, prioritizing tourism over local needs reshapes urban life in ways that aren't always visible to outsiders. What's striking is how similar the human impact is across vastly different regions. From the canals of Venice to the desert towers of Dubai, the roller coasters of Orlando to the glitzy streets of Cannes and the casino-lined avenues of Macau, locals face similar struggles: a sense of displacement, rising costs, and living in a city that prioritizes outsiders over community. Overall, tourism can bring money, prestige, and global recognition, but it comes with trade-offs. In cities built for tourists, residents often find themselves struggling between maintaining their home life and participating in an economy designed to dazzle outsiders.